Be talking about solving equations involving the distributive property. As you can see, some equations can be a little more complicated, and definitely more complicated than this, but in this case, before we can subtract this 17, we need to deal with this distribution of a 2 to everything in the parentheses. So as you know, if we were just looking at the left side of this equation, the 2 times w plus 17, we can use the distributive property to simplify that. Once we do that, so 2 times w, and remember, whenever you have a number next to parentheses or anything outside of these parentheses, it has to affect everything inside. So don't forget to do also the 2 times the positive 17 to give you a positive 34. So that's what the left side would look like, and the right side obviously stays the same. So now we just have a two-step equation, which we had worked on earlier in the week. So right here we're going to subtract 34 from both sides, and that gives us 2w equals 24. Divide both sides by 2, and we get w equals 12. We should be able to plug that back in, see if that makes sense. So 12 plus 17 is 29, times 2 is 58. So that is correct. I've checked it. Let's try out another one. Keep in mind, if I'm going too fast, pause the video, rewind the video, rewatch the video. Okay. If you don't understand something in one of my examples, just rewind it. All right. So now we have a similar situation. This 10 needs to be distributed to the x minus 6 before we can start eliminating the 6 and the 10. So first of all, we're going to distribute this 10 to both items. So 10 times x is 10x. Now some of you are getting confused because you don't know whether to subtract or add what's going on when we have this negative here. So there's two ways you can think about it. We can just bring the negative down and forget about it, and then just do 10 times 6 is 60. The only time that won't work is if this is a negative 10, because then we get negative 10 times 6 is negative 60, and we'll have a minus, a negative. But for now, you can just bring the negative side down and then just do the 10 times 6. We get 60 equals negative 25. Now we can go about doing our usual add 60 to both sides. Make sure when you're doing this in class that you are showing your work. This will be 35, it looks like. And then divide by 10. Oops, let's try this one. Divide by 10. And when you are doing division and it doesn't come out to a whole number, that's okay. So we're going to divide both by 5, so we're going to get 7 over 2, which might be listed in the back of the book as 7 over 2 or 3.5. Either way, totally acceptable answers. All right, let's move on. So here we have a negative 4.5 equals negative 3 times y plus 15. This is exactly the same as the last problem. It's just the y and the parentheses happens to be over on the right side this time. If that messes you up, then you can feel free to change the sides. It's kind of like this. If I write 2 plus 3 equals 5, that would be the same as me writing 5 equals 2 plus 3. So feel free, if you want to just change this to look like this if it helps. You don't have to, but if it helps. So now we're going to distribute this negative 3. And so negative 3 times y is negative 3y. Again, if you want, you can bring down this addition sign right away. And then we just know it's negative 3 times 15 is negative 45. So here's an issue where bringing down the sign, although correct and true, it would be easier just to write it like negative 3y minus 45. But you can just add that step later. So if if this helps keep everything organized and helps you keep the signs correct, then go ahead and do it that way. So we have -3 minus 45 equals -4.5. Then I'm going to, as usual, get rid of this minus 45 by adding. 45 minus 4.5 is 40.5. And then we're going to divide both sides by -3, right? Not just 3, but -3. And let me slide over here to finish this. So y is going to equal, can't have a fraction, a decimal in a final answer as a fraction, so we're going to end up with a -405 over 30, and that's not going to go in evenly, but we can reduce it. So I know those are both divisible by 5, so let's see, 81, I think, -81 over 6, and I know both of those are divisible by 3, so we're going to end up with, let's see, -27 over 2, it looks like. Now, if you think that's going to be a pain to plug back in to check your answer, I think it will be as well. What you can do in that case is just kind of estimate it. This looks like it'll be about -13 or -14. So here's our answer. Our estimate is about this, right? And so if you plug that in, you'll end up with 2 times -3 is -6. That's pretty close. So I think this would be a correct answer. All right. Here is the exact same problem as we've done the last 3 times. The only difference is that this is now a fraction instead of a whole number. Not a big deal. The one thing you probably should do before you start, either make it a decimal, which I would not recommend, or make it a fraction, which I would recommend. Here we have 17 over 2, and I think you'll find that this won't be too bad as we do the calculation here. So 17 over 2 times c is 17 over 2c, just like any whole number. The fraction does the same thing. Now we're going to do this minus, so we're going to bring that down, and we're going to have 17 over 2 times that 16, and we'll just say over 1 because it's a fraction, and that's going to equal 340. Now this is actually easily reducible, right? So it's actually just 17 times 8. So what we have is 17 over 2c minus 17 times 8, which is, I don't know, it's 170 minus 34, so 136, I guess. And that's going to equal 340. We're going to add 136 to both sides. And so we're going to end up with, sorry, let me move this down a little bit. We're going to end up with 17 over 2c equaling 476. I don't know why this is going slow right now. And again, so we have this fraction at the end. Remember, it's very easy to multiply or to divide by a fraction. You just multiply by the reciprocal. 2 over 17. Now my guess, well, this cancels out. My guess is that the right side is going to be divisible by 17. That's a guess, so let's find out. So 476 divided by 17 is, we got a 2. We got a 13, 136, which, let's see, 17 times, I don't know, 17 times 4 maybe? No, that's too small, obviously. Let's try 8. 6, 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, sure enough. So 28. So when you cross these out, you get 28, and so C equals 28 times 2, which is 56. Now we go back, see if that is correct. So 56 minus 16 is 40. 40 divided by 2 is 20. 20 times 17 is 340. So we got the right answer. It's always a good idea to check your answer, especially in a problem that had that many fractional things and big calculations. Checking your answer can go a long way towards making you feel confident that you were right and finding out if you made a mistake. Thanks for watching.